You said you're the most hated person ever, so let's test the theory. I'm going to go on
Have
Twitter.
you got like an app?
I am going to send out a tweet saying you're on the show and just send me questions and see what they say. And by the way, they're all in all caps. So there's no, and then there's Shane with a crying face. There's definitely a picture of somebody drinking bleach, so that's happening.
No!
Hey, what's up you guys? So today I want to do something a little bit different. Now you know I'm obsessed with all things creepy, dark, weird. So I've been making a lot of videos about like conspiracy theories and urban legends, and you guys seem to be enjoying it. But another thing I love is really fucked up facts about like death or weird crazy accidents that have happened. And my all-time favorite is Disneyland deaths. So I thought today I would make a video going through some of my favorite that sounds very fucked up, but it's true, some of my favorite deaths that happened to Disneyland. Now before I get started, I just want to say that I mean no disrespect to the family members of people that have died at Disneyland or the people I'm going to talk about. I just find it very fascinating. I find theme parks terrifying for so many reasons. I mean, you have these big, terrifying roller coasters that go hundreds of miles an hour, faster than any person should be going. Then you literally put it in the hands of a teenager who like has a million things on his mind. He ends up pressing the wrong button and then boom, the whole fucking thing crashes and you're dead. At Disneyland, they have that big boat and they have like a parade and there's fireworks. How many times do you think a firework has gone off and almost killed somebody? Probably countless. Then you have all the food everywhere that somebody could so easily poison. Or you could have somebody pour some poison or even eye drops into the water fountain and then you take a sip, diarrhea for weeks. Just there's so many possibilities to die. Ugh, I just imagine like getting killed in the bathroom of like Toontown and like while you're getting stabbed you just hear, "It's a small world after all, yes it is, it's a small world," as you're getting fucking gutted. Too scary for me. Well, one fact about Disneyland that's kind of interesting is nobody's ever technically died there, because what happens is if somebody actually does die at Disneyland, they don't pronounce them dead there. They take them to a hospital nearby and then pronounce them dead there. That way the people at Disneyland can technically say, oh, nobody's ever died at Disneyland, which is true because they weren't pronounced dead there, but they definitely died there. And a lot of people have died there. So here are my top 5 crazy deaths that happened at Disneyland. The crash of the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad ride in 2003. Now I remember this one so vividly because I heard about it at school and I thought it was like a myth or an urban legend, and then when I went home it was on the news and it fucking freaked me the fuck out. Basically the ride is about this train that like goes through this mountain and it goes through all these tunnels and it's like this crazy train and the horn is honking and it's just very intense. Well, one day in 2003 some employees noticed that it was making this weird noise. So they had an inspector come to look at it and he cleared it and he's like, no, everything is fine. So they dispatched it. One of the wheels went off the track and derailed the whole train and it crashed. A 22-year-old guy named Marcelo Torres got hit with a piece of wood, filled his lungs with blood, and he died. 11 other people were seriously injured and taken to the hospital. Just imagine like being in line for the ride and like you're next and you're waiting and you're so fucking excited, you're taking selfies, and then boosh, boosh. Just gives me the chills. Number 2, the death of Pluto. So at Disneyland, you know they have all those big parades. Well, one of the parades had a big Beauty and the Beast float. And in front of the Beauty and the Beast float was a guy in a Pluto costume. And he was, you know, dancing around and entertaining all the kids. Well, he tripped, got his foot stuck underneath the wheel of the Beauty and the Beast float, couldn't get it out in time, and the whole float crushed him to death. He was 38 years old, his name was Javier Cruz, and he loved his job and he loved being Pluto. So at least he died doing what he loved, but very, very heartbreaking. Side note, Disneyland put out a statement saying they were sorry and explaining what happened, and also saying that nobody saw it happen. No guests saw it. It's a fucking parade. I'm assuming everybody was watching, and I'm assuming everybody was horrified. But once again, I don't want to get sued, so it's all talk. I wasn't there, and I'm really glad I wasn't. Number 3. The death on Christmas Eve. So on Christmas Eve of 1998, a bunch of people were waiting to go on the big Columbia ship. Now, if you haven't been to Disneyland, basically it was this big ship and you go on it and you go across the lake and they talk about like finding America and all of that. Well, one of the ropes that was being secured by this big metal cleat got loose and the fucking metal thing flew through the air. Well, the thing hit 2 guests right in the head. One of them died. Side note and kind of creepy fact, the guy who died's last name was Dawson. Number 4, someone was killed by the monorail. So the monorail is basically like a big bus that looks very futuristic and it goes around Disneyland and it takes you to different parts of the park. I've always been terrified of it because I just feel like it's not safe. It's like up in the sky and it like goes through mountains and trees and it just, everything about it screams accident to me. Well, in 1966, a high school was having their grad night at Disneyland, and one of the guests, who was a teenager, decided to kind of explore, and he climbed on top of the track of the monorail. Well, security started yelling, "Get off, get off!" And he, of course, probably thought, oh, they're just mad that I'm climbing on here, whatever, I'll get off in a minute. Well, he didn't know that the monorail was coming. So the security kept yelling, "Move, move, move, it's coming!" He looks up, and it's right in front of him. So he jumps down underneath the track onto kind of like a plexiglass thing, kind of like a few inches underneath the track. Well, unfortunately, it wasn't deep enough, and the monorail killed him. Not only did it kill him, it dragged his body 40 feet before it finally let him go. Ugh. I heard about this story when I was in middle school, and that is one of the many reasons I didn't go to Disneyland on grad night. I just felt like it was haunted, and maybe his spirit was there. I wasn't fucking with that. Also, I couldn't afford it, honestly. And last, but definitely not least, number 5, the death of Deborah Stone. So this story really, really makes me sad, and I just once again want to say all respect to the family that lost her. This is awful, but something about it was so terrifying to me and straight out of a horror movie that I think about it a lot. So in 1974, there was a show called America Sings, and it literally was only open for like 2 weeks before this happened. So the show involved these theater walls that would like move from show to show. So basically, like, you know, you would be with the presidents and then the whole wall would move, and then it would be like Columbus. Well, Deborah Stone, who was an 18-year-old employee at the time, well, she was walking through the ride, checking things out, and she got too close to one of the moving walls. She turned, and the moving wall came right for her and pinned her up against the other wall. She started screaming, people tried to come run and help her, but the walls just kept crushing, 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 and it was too late. The scariest part, that ride stayed open for like 10 more years. I don't know if Disneyland was trying to keep it a secret, didn't want people to know, but people found out, and they were fucking freaked the fuck out. But now that ride is gone. So there you guys go. Those were the scary but interesting deaths that happened at Disneyland. And I actually have lists from other theme parks, Knott's Berry Farm, Six Flags. Six Flags has had a lot of shit go down. And there is video footage of a lot of it. So if you want me to make one of those videos, let me know by giving this video a thumb up and leave me a comment letting me know what you thought. Also make sure to subscribe because I make new videos every single day. And if you want to watch some of my other fucked up, darker videos like conspiracy theories and urban legends, I'll put the playlist down there. Alright you guys, I will see you tomorrow. And remember, buckle your seatbelt, stay safe. I can pretend like I'm just drinking iced tea when in reality, I'm drinking obesity. Oh my god, obesity, my new tea. Me on Instagram promoting it. Have to start every morning with my obesity. Every sip goes right to my hips. Hashtag fat ass bitch and loving it. Hashtag spawn.